Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 279. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How are you doing, Kevin?
Doing well.
All right, good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
This week we'll be taking a look at Alex Ross Perry's latest, Golden Exits, along with some of what we've been watching on the watch list, and previewing some new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. I'd like to start the show with an apology. It's my fault. It's rare that I'll say this, but it's my fault that we were off the last couple weeks because I was at Sundance, and then the worst part, the following week was a real screw up on my part. We were going to be reviewing a movie, and Kevin, I'm sure you'll talk about it today. We were going to be reviewing a movie for the show, and we were sent a screener, and the screener expired, and I didn't realize it. And for some reason, I thought it was like a few days after it actually expired. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I'll be able to watch it on Saturday night, and we'll be recording on Sunday, and everything will be great. No, that's not the case. It totally expired, and I was not able to see it. Although I do appreciate the effort of the publicist reactivating it. It was just like 3 days too late.
I just love that happened, because usually that's me.
Yeah,
That's happened a lot of times where that's me.
Yeah, I totally dropped the ball.
It was refreshing to have it be you this time.
Well, it's not something I'm going to let happen again anytime soon. I'll tell you that.
I'm going to hold on to it forever, though. Like, if anytime I don't watch something, I'll be like, you do it too.
Remember that time?
It can even be like 4 years later after I've done it 9 times, and I'll still bring it up. I don't care.
That's fine. You can hold it over my head. I'm okay with that.
So damn unprofessional.
I know. I was really upset with myself over that. At any rate, let's talk about Golden Exits, a movie that I did not let the screener expire.
It'd be great if you just like, in all actuality, I did not. Sorry.
No, I did view this one. So this is written and directed by Alex Ross Perry. I have a synopsis here. An intersectional narrative of two families in Brooklyn and the unraveling of unspoken unhappiness that occurs when a young foreign girl spending time abroad upsets the balance of both sides. This stars Emily Browning, Adam Horovitz in there, a little ad rock, little Beastie Boys action. Mary Louise Parker, Lily Robb. Let's see, Jason Schwartzman, Chloe Sevigny, Annalie Tipton. We'll start with you, Kevin. What did you think of Golden Exits?
First off, I like filmmaking wise, like technique wise, I think this is probably Perry's best movie. Everything else, I don't know. Like I'm literally like halfway through the movie, and I'm just like, what's the point?
I knew right away.
What is the point of this?
I knew within 20 minutes. Within the first 20 minutes, I was like, Kevin and I are going to definitely be on the same page with this one. I just know it. Because I feel like we've seen a lot of these movies before. And it's so funny because there's one scene in the movie when Adam Horovitz and Emily Brown, what's her name? Emily Browning, they're having a conversation, and they're talking about movies, and she mentions that people don't make movies about just normal people living their everyday lives. And during that scene, I'm thinking, this is why they don't do that. Because it's boring. Like there's nothing compelling about this. Like,
well, I mean, to a certain extent, they do that. And I don't think that like a lot of those movies are boring. I think like what the issue with this movie is because it's kind of that where it's people just having their ordinary lives. But the thing that gets me and makes it worse is it's so overwritten to the point of just being fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like, because these aren't normal people. Like, they're the dialogue that they're spouting is just
right.
absolutely insufferable.
Yeah, I mean,
And you're just like, who talks like this? No one talks like this. If you do talk like this, we shouldn't be making movies about you. You should be kept alone in your house
yeah,
with people like you.
every conversation is just about life, you know, like just they're
And it's
just
not
they
just,
overanalyze everything about everything.
yeah. I mean, and again, that's not necessarily bad in and of itself. Like, you can have movies that are like that with that type of dialogue. It's just the issue here for me, at least, is all these little combos that they're having. They're all like mini blurbs from like their dissertation, where it's too much. It's just too, like, you're trying entirely too hard here.
Yeah, I
The
completely
writing in
agree.
this is just, oh, it's so off-putting. And then on top of that, you're, like I said, halfway through, I'm like, what is the point? Like, what are you doing? What do you have to say? Like, you assembled all these people together, invested all this time and resources to say what? I don't get it.
Yeah,
What's the point?
you know, at its core, like the synopsis says, Emily Browning's character is she comes to New York on a work visa from Australia. She's going to be here for a couple months, and it's like it's like all the men in this movie are just like these vultures that descend upon Emily Browning, and there's just like this immediate tension, this immediate like sexual tension that occurs with seemingly every man that is around her. And it's like, am I supposed to like any of these characters? Is this some sort of statement on the male gaze or something? Like, is it like what is this all about here? Because you have she's working with Adam Horowitz. She gets hired as an assistant to him, and then there's this like immediate attraction there, and then like she's like her mom is friends with Jason Schwartzman's mom, so they hang out, and then there's like that kind of attraction there.
Well, and like, I understand him being, kind of a sleazeball. Like, well, it seems like he's a reformed
Yeah. They
sleazeball.
say
Like, there
that.
was the issues in the past, and it seems like at the start of this relationship, this professional relationship, he's well behaved,
Yeah,
and then his ridiculous friends show up and kind of push him
they
into it.
derail that. They mention multiple times that he has they allude to that he has been unfaithful in the past. He's married to Chloe Savini, but it's just like I'm like, just I don't care about any of this. Like I think what it boils down to is just the characters and their situations were just not interesting enough for me to really grab me.
Yeah, and I was marginally with it until towards the end, where Naomi essentially just becomes like obsessed with Schwartzman's character. And because like I was kind of like you, where it's like, okay, is this a state? These are pathetic men. They're really sad, and they're trying entirely too hard, and it's screwing up their relationships. But then it like turns around where Emily Browning is obsessed with him. And it's just like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, it kind of
I thought she
flips the whole
realized
thing
that
on its head.
It's like, I don't care about you people. You're all ridiculous.
You're all so full of yourselves.
It's just awful.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that it did look quite good. I liked the look of it. You know, there's certain. I'm sure that people would be comparing this to Woody Allen film, and I think that of all of Alex Ross Perry's films, this is the most Woody Allen-esque.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what. It was just something that I immediately, like, the soundtrack and everything just felt very Woody Allen-esque to me from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, like I said from the top, the filmmaking of it, the cinematography, I loved the dissolving, establishing shots. I thought were fantastic. Just like the overall like pace to it, the rhythm to it, I thought was fantastic. I loved the score.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan DeWitt again, fantastic score. It's just unfortunately like the meat of it, everything at the center is just insufferable.
Yeah.
It's just, oh goodness.
Yeah,
It was difficult.
unfortunately, I will agree with you on that. There just wasn't. It was really struggling to hold my attention. Like I was not into the conversations, and there are a lot of movies that we watch, a lot of like American indies that really focus on character and the conversations between characters, and I like that. I like those types of movies. However, this one, it just didn't have a lot to say that really compelled me to want to keep watching it.
No, and it didn't for as talkative as they are, where almost everyone is given this opportunity to have like this defining monologue that they kind of get. Everyone does, but to me, there's just again, it's overly written, and there was no like insight. There was nothing in the monologue itself. It's just verbose.
Yeah.
And it's just verbose for the sake of being, it's supposed to be intellectual, I guess. But it just comes off, to me, it just came off as silly. And again, insufferable.
Yeah.
They just keep talking, but they're not saying anything.
Yeah, that happens. I was hoping that there'd be at least some comedy in it, but no. I didn't really.
Yeah,
it's not really it's definitely not a comedy. I was hoping Schwartzman would drop some gems or something, but no, doesn't really happen.
And I thought, like, Keith Poulsen shows up at the end, and he seems like an awkward guy. I thought he was gonna bring some he doesn't. He doesn't really get an opportunity to do anything.
Mm-mm.
I don't know why he was even there, really. They just started adding new characters at the end. They just got tired, got bored, I guess.
Yeah. He started adding characters at the end. He started piling up characters.
Just throw them in there. Why not?
Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this movie. There's really nothing here for me.
And it's it's going off of the synopsis, which I didn't read beforehand.
Yeah, neither did I. This was the first time I read it.
Kind of basically going off of that, it's saying that it kind of the unspoken unhappiness or whatever, it kind of screws up the balance of the relation. They didn't seem that happy to begin with. No. Like before Naomi's even introduced, it just these relationships don't seem happy or healthy.
No, and they seem to be pretty open about talking about their unhappiness as well. I mean, at least with other people. Yeah. Maybe not their spouses, but
so I didn't really understand what she was upending.
Yeah, nobody was really happy actually. Nobody was happy in this movie.
Outside of, Schwartzman having to sneak around and lie.
Even that opening scene with Emily Browning singing, which I thought was great, by the way. Like, I thought that was a great way to open.
I did enjoy that.
even that, it seemed like she was not happy about being there. She seemed very depressed. It was it
was a somber rendition.
Yeah, a lot of
New
melancholy
York groove.
in that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't start off on. You're right. It kind of does just start off in melancholy. That's the foot that it just jumps off. I mean, it's New York groove, and she seems so sad.
Yeah, which is interesting to hear a
everyone
sad
else that
rendition
follows
of New York groove.
Yeah, and then everyone that follows seems just as, or maybe even more so, sad.
Yeah. It's a depressing movie about depressed people and their depressing lives.
Is that like a accurate snapshot of Brooklyn? Everyone's just sad. It's just a bunch of sad people that are unnecessarily verbose.
I would say, here's the thing. If you want to see a more accurate and realistic portrayal of Brooklyn, I would say watch the show High Maintenance on HBO. And the new season just started recently, and it is utterly fantastic. And not only is it a great snapshot of Brooklyn, it's a great snapshot of New York as well. So instead of Golden Exits, just watch High Maintenance.
Apparently, this is the snapshot of Alex Ross Perry's little bubble of Brooklyn, I guess.
In a lot of ways, High Maintenance is sort of the same style of narrative where it goes into people's lives and it's just a little snapshot of their lives, but it's done in such a more entertaining and fascinating way. The way that it dives into these people's lives, it's way better than something like this, which is a shame because I like Alex Ross Perry. I like most of his movies. Queen of Earth was a disappointment for me, but
that's what I mean. Like the last two have not been good.
Yeah,
between Queen of Earth and this one is, the filmmaking is better than Queen of Earth, but like the writing is worse.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And on one end he's getting better, on one end he's getting worse.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Golden Exits. What are you going to give this out of 10?
I don't even know. You got 4.
Yeah, I'm sitting at a 4. I'm sitting at a 4 on this one. It just didn't land for me. Just wasn't there. So that's Golden Exits. That's playing in limited release right now. I do not think this is on VOD. I think this is only in select theaters.
Yeah. And now you kind of see why now. Because I was always wondering, like, when it...
Well, yeah, I mean, this was...
Festival.
Yeah, it played Sundance last year. And this was on both of our most anticipated lists. And it never came out. And I don't think... it didn't get picked up, I don't think.
No.
Last year.
And you didn't really hear much about it either. And this was someone that it seemed like he was, his name was getting a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden just kind of poof.
Yeah.
Disappear, and it's like, what?
You can definitely see why.
And now you see the movie, and it's like, oh, okay. I kind of get it.
That's Golden Exits. A little bit of a disappointment. Let's move on to our watch list, talk about some stuff we've been watching. I don't remember who started last time, so...
I don't either.
I'll just start it. I saw Cloak and Dagger from 1984.
Cloak and Dagger?
Yeah, little Cloak and Dagger action. This is directed by
Dabney Coleman.
Yeah. Dabney Coleman plays an imaginary secret agent.
Are you serious?
Yep. And Henry Thomas is the main character, Elliot from E.T. And he plays this character who he has a very active imagination, loves spy stuff, loves video games, And one day he goes to this office that's like an electronics store or like an electronics publisher or something. He goes there to like pick up a catalog of their latest stuff, and he ends up going up this stairwell, and this scientist enters, and the scientist gets shot and dies. Ooh. He falls down a stairwell to his death, and before he dies, he gives this kid a copy of the Atari game Cloak and Dagger, which is a real Atari game, and tells him to like keep it safe or something. I don't even remember. But hidden in this Cloak and Dagger Atari game are these plans for this stealth bomber that the government is creating, I guess, and then like these agents start coming after him and try to get the thing back, and they want to like kill him. It's not a great movie, but it's way more adult than I expected. I mean, there's like people that get shot, and there's deaths, multiple deaths, and there's like people trying to kill this kid and his friend, and it was kind of fun. It's got to be one of the first video game movies, I think.
I love the idea of
the
whole his imaginary friend.
I neglected to.
It seems like a huge part of this.
It's like the biggest part. So Dabney Coleman is his imaginary friend who is this spy, and he helps him out to do these things. So, yeah.
How does that work, though?
He just helps him make decisions. Like he stands around and he tells him what to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend giving it a look. If you're looking for some 80s nostalgia. Yeah, for some reason this is one that I never watched as a youth.
Yeah.
But Cloak and Dagger, yeah, check it out.
I saw it Before We Vanish. Did you get a chance to see that?
No, I didn't.
Huh?
This is the one that expired.
It's interesting because I've seen two different things going on here with this Before We Vanish. Is that it was a mini series or a TV show, something along those lines.
Well, according to the person that commented on our review, it was a mini series.
Yeah, and then I've read where it was a mini series, and this is kind of like a companion piece to the mini series, and the mini series is actually like a little bit different, where it's more of a horror, darker version of what the movie is. So I'm not 100% sure, because I don't know if this is like just a furthering of but whatever. Number one is the premise is great for this, which is this is the newest one from Kurosawa, where it's an alien invasion. 3 aliens come down, they take over human bodies, and their whole goal is they're just research. They're there for research. So what they have to do is they're collecting concepts.
So it's like Third Rock from the Sun, the hit sitcom.
Yeah. Kinda. Where they go, like, for an example, the guy like tries to walk into someone's house, and he's like, "That's my house, I own it. You can't just walk in there." And he's like, "Explain to me possession." So the guy's like talking him through it, and once he gets like everything that goes into the concept of like possession or your possessions, he gives you a little tap on the forehead, and he steals it. He takes it, and it's now like, it like downloads it into himself, where he has the human concept of possessions. But the side effect to it is that human no longer has that concept anymore.
That's actually
and never will happen.
Yeah, that's actually a really awesome premise. I feel like they can do a lot with that.
Exactly. So, even though this movie's 2 hours and 9 minutes long, they don't do a lot with it. They steal some concepts here and there, like one guy steals the concept of family, and of course, this girl she doesn't have the concept of family anymore. And the one is he's the husband of this woman, and the woman doesn't know that he's an alien. She hates her husband, and now all of a sudden her husband's fucking weird. He's a weirdo because he's an alien. So it goes through all this shit. Now the thing that's interesting is, in a bad way, is they don't really collect that many concepts, and then they just invade anyways to kill everyone. So it seems kind of pointless to take the concepts anyway. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all, really, because they take like 8 concepts and then they invade. Like, you would think, and what do you need the concepts for anyways? You're taking over the planet and you're killing all the humans, so what do you need human concepts for?
Yeah, it seems a little counterintuitive.
Yeah, because then, obviously there comes a point where it becomes an invasion film, and it kind of just, they're like on the run from government agencies, and that kind of goes out the window, and it becomes just kind of standard fare where it's not really interesting anymore. They're not. And then it comes down to this whole, like, the alien getting the concept of love, and Kurosawa in this movie, he can't do romance or love, and it's really bad. So man, does it fall on its face at the end. But it's just, at the core, it's such a great idea, which is, that's why I, like, based on this movie, which is okay, it's like a light recommend, but I really want to see the miniseries, because I think it's best for that, where you have time.
Yeah, it sounds like a good concept for a show where you can
really explore.
You can have them be gradually getting all of these millions of concepts and seeing how these aliens change over time after learning these concepts, and as they become more human.
Yeah, and it's also interesting as kind of like a thought experiment to say, okay, if this person lost the concept of family or lost the concept of possessions, what would that look like? How would they act?
Yeah, that's
because the thing, when it comes down to the love thing, which it's difficult for him to take the concept because no one can really define it, which is where he runs into trouble. Like, he asks numerous people, like, he goes into a church and there's all these little kids, and you're like, oh Jesus, he's going to steal the idea of love from kids. This is going to be horrible. But no one can quite define what love is sufficiently enough for him to take it.
Interesting.
See? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to seek out the series. I don't even know is the series also called Before We Vanish?
I'm not sure. I need to find out.
We'll
more
have to research this and see if the series is available in the States. Maybe on one of those, like Crunchyroll or one of those that does series. Maybe they have it. I don't know. Let's see. What did I saw the Cloverfield Paradox.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was the big Netflix bomb drop during the Super Bowl, which was crazy. Crazy idea. They released the trailer during the Super Bowl, and in that trailer they announced that the movie is available to watch immediately after the game. Yeah. Kind of a smart idea, smart marketing idea, but it makes it causes reservations, right? Like, you're like, it's probably not good if they're doing it this way, you know?
Exactly. That was my immediate thought, was I have a feeling this movie's not good at all, because why would you do this? if you knew you had something good.
So if you're not familiar with a little bit of the backstory with this one, the script and this is, I don't know this for a fact. These are just things that I read online, so, take it with a grain of salt, but from what I understand, the script was not originally a Cloverfield movie. And then adding to that, the actual film itself was not a Cloverfield movie, and they did a lot of additional shooting to make it a Cloverfield movie. So that being said, the Cloverfield stuff in this, while it seems very clear that they tried to put it in there as best they could, it still feels a little out of place. Like, it doesn't really work. So the way that the film is structured, you're cutting back and forth between people on this space station who are they're on the space station that houses a device that will create everlasting sustainable energy for the whole planet. So this takes place in the future, and it's a future where our energy reserves have run out. So people are in peril on Earth. So they create this device that's going to be everlasting energy for everyone, free energy. And so part of it takes place on the space station with the crew trying to get this device working, and then part of it is on Earth with this guy who is just dealing with the effects of these power outages, and then subsequently what happens after they turn on the device, which causes the whole Cloverfield incident. And there's a few cool sequences in this, especially because you're dealing with like paradoxes. So you're dealing with multiple dimensions, and then these dimensions sort of overlap with each other after they turn on this device. So you're having a lot of weird things occur. Like, there's a scene where Chris O'Dowd, basically the ship, the station that they're on, sort of sucks his arm into the wall of the ship, and the wall like is sort of eating his arm, and then all of a sudden his arm just disappears and he's without an arm for the rest of the movie. Like it's not like it chops it off or anything. It just disappears. Like, his arm just it shows up later, but it turns out that it's not his arm, it's the other dimensions Chris O'Dowd.
Oh my goodness.
It's his arm.
Just swapping dimensional arms.
Their arms traded places. And there's a few other things that happen that are like that are pretty cool. And there's a couple cool death scenes too. I'm not going to say who dies, but there are a few interesting death scenes that occur. One is very Alien-esque. I mean, it almost but it almost feels like an Alien ripoff. It's so egregious that it feels almost silly. Although the sequence itself was pretty cool. The movie's not good. It is not a good movie at all. You have a lot of great people in this too. You have like Gugu Mbatha Raw, Chris O'Dowd, Zhang Ziyi's in it, Daniel Bruhl, David Oelio. You got a lot of great people in this, and
that's why it would, like I said, with that initial like drop during the Super Bowl, and you see the people that are in it, and you're just like, well, it can't be good then.
Yeah.
There's no way you wouldn't do this if it was a good movie.
Yeah. I think that this could be the it for this whole Cloverfield experiment, where it's...
Yeah, let's just stop that. Done.
Yeah.
Cloverfield, it's done. Let's move on.
It's so loosely connected. Like, even more so than... what's it called? 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah.
Which I liked a lot. I thought that one was great. But
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't like it wasn't a Cloverfield movie, really.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just like that's like if you say you watch it and you're like, man, that was a good movie. I like that. And someone just popped in afterward and they're like, yep, it's a Cloverfield movie. And you're like, but how
Yeah.
though? It's like, yep, nope, totally is.
Well,
It's a whole part of the universe.
yeah. But I like the idea, where there's this there's this big event that's happening, but people are still dealing with their own shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, Golden Exits technically could be a Cloverfield movie.
Absolutely could be. It absolutely could be.
On the other side town in the East Village.
No, not there. It's somewhere else.
Okay, Newark.
There you go. Newark, that's better.
It's getting hit.
Anyway, Cloverfield Paradox, it is available on Netflix if you want to check it out. It is not worth a look though. It's not very good. Some people are loving it. I noticed some people on Twitter that are really digging it, but it just didn't work for me. It was way too derivative and like just wasn't good. It wasn't very enjoyable. A lot of it was just kind of silly and you're just like, what? Especially the cutaways to the stuff back on Earth. You're just like, eh. In the end it just felt so generic and bland.
I watched something like this was super disappointing in a really baffling way, which is I finally saw The Graduate from 1967.
Oh, okay.
Mike Nichols, The Graduate.
Classic.
This movie's terrible. It's just bad. It's just awful. I don't understand. I don't understand how this is a classic. I don't get it.
I don't know. I've never seen this movie in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces over the years, but I've never seen the whole thing start to finish in an uncut format.
Yeah, well, I finally did that, and I don't recommend it. I wouldn't do it. The main character that Dustin Hoffman plays, the disillusioned graduate, he's fucking awful, and I hate him so much. I almost hate him as much as Brad from Brad's Status, but
poor Brad.
Not quite. But he is fucking terrible. Like he's a giant sulky boy. He just sulks, and there's no depth to it. He's just like, I'm unsure about my future. Like that's all he says. Like he doesn't get into like. And yes, I can understand being overwhelmed by the future and like what do you want to do? Like I get that, but there's no depth to it. That's literally all he says. Like he's just a sad mopey boy, and then he'll say occasionally, "Oh, my future," and then and then you have the whole thing with Mrs. Robinson, which is handled very oddly, and then it kind of drops off from that, and it becomes about him with Mrs. Robinson's daughter, and then that's even more bizarre the way that it's handled because he just turns into this really creepy stalker guy. That's just a sad, pathetic piece of shit stalking.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ending is just all out insane where I can't. And the other thing that gets me is, like the biggest thing to it has always been the Simon and Garfunkel soundtrack. Yeah. Which it starts off with The Sound of Silence, which just doesn't really seem to fit with the movie. And then it does Scarborough Fair, which it does like 4 separate times.
I hate it when movies do that.
It starts from the beginning each time. Like it plays once and it gets like halfway through and then it stops. And then about 5 minutes later, and the scene starts, and it starts at the beginning of the song again. And number one, that's just terrible. 2, the song doesn't really fit at all with what's going on. None of the scenes it does. Like they just keep fucking shoving Scarborough Fair in there for no reason. I don't understand it. it doesn't like they're good songs. Simon and Garfunkel, good songs, but they just don't feel like they don't make sense.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of older movies do that. Like they'll have one song that they play over and over, or a few songs that they play over and over in a soundtrack.
It's just, it's not good. I hated it.
That's unfortunate. I saw A Futile and Stupid Gesture. It's another Netflix one. It's the one about National Lampoon that apparently got zero.
That's right.
It got zero advertising from Netflix, which I think is unfortunate. The movie's not great, but I think a lot of people will probably like it. The thing is, I've said it before on the show, I'm a huge National Lampoon fanboy. And by that I mean the like the older stuff, not anything that they did like post 80s. But anyway, it's a biopic about the National Lampoon and specifically Doug Kenny, who is one of the creators of the National Lampoon. Will Forte plays him. A lot of great people in this playing some big roles. Like Joel McHale plays Chevy Chase, which is interesting. Like Seth Green plays Christopher Guest. And John Daly plays Bill Murray. A lot of interesting casting choices here that, for the most part, worked really well. And it just sort of the thing that got to me about this that bothered me, and maybe this will work for some people, was that they used this sort of this device to bookend the not even bookend. It was just like this narrative, this like framing device that they used to tell the story, where they had Martin Mull play Doug Kenny, like the Doug Kenny of now, like modern Doug Kenny, which is weird because Doug Kenny died very young. So it's like, why would they have Martin Mull play modern Doug Kenny? I mean, they're trying to say, I guess, if he survived, what he would be like. It was just so weird, and he would like frequently come into the scene and do like exposition, and it just didn't work for me at all.
It does seem like a very odd choice.
Otherwise, it was a pretty funny movie. This is directed by David Wayne, and I think that was a good choice for something like this, where you have a big ensemble of funny people. I think David Wayne does that very well. And so there were a lot of funny moments. Will Forte was pretty funny as Doug Kenny, and so it's like maybe a light recommend. If you don't know the story of the National Lampoon, I would say it's worth checking out. Although a documentary came out like maybe 2 years ago called Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead, and it's a deeper dive into the National Lampoon company and sort of where they went and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that is I would recommend that over this, maybe, but either way, it's not great. Although we have a review up on the site, and Mint reviewed it for us, and he loved it. He gave it an 8 out of 10. So what the fuck do I know?
This is true. This is very true. I don't think we really know anything, do we? Except that all Netflix movies are. It's all right.
Yeah.
That's what I love. That's like the running theme of every Netflix movie.
I feel like with Netflix, it's either like, it's all right, or it was horrible.
Yeah.
You have your Futile and Stupid Gestures, which are, those are like, all right, that's okay. And then you have your open houses, which are like, oh my God, that was so dreadful.
Yeah. And I think they're just banking on racking up as many as those as possible. Because that's like almost the whole point of Netflix, isn't it? Where you're just kind of like sitting around, nothing to do, and it's like, let me see what's on here. Oh, all right. Let's try this one. Let me hit play.
Again, I will say what I said during our predictions, our 2018 predictions, that are our most anticipated, that this is like a make it or break it year for Netflix, because they have a lot of directors that I admire coming out with Netflix movies this year. So
it's gonna be interesting.
I swear, if they, oh man, Gareth Evans and Jeremy Saulnier and Scorsese and Duncan Jones, and man, if those are bad,
yeah, isn't even, which is maybe another sign, isn't Annihilation now just nothing, just Netflix?
Really?
I thought I read that. Yeah, that they're not releasing it. It's just straight to Netflix.
No, I've been seeing commercials for it. That's there's no way.
I thought that's what I read.
I think you might be incorrect on that. Yeah, it says it's in theaters February 23rd.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Internationally. It's going to Netflix.
Interesting. So Netflix picked it up for international. It's a shame you can't do... Well, I mean, that doesn't say a lot about that movie. I'm a little concerned now. It's a shame you can't do the... I might have to look this up, but you used to be able to do a VPN and then be able to log into Netflix in different countries and watch their offerings in different countries. But I think that they cracked down on that. I don't think you can do it anymore. But I'm gonna look it up and see if you can still do it.
Watch some Annihilation.
Yeah,
that's all I got. I'm gonna stop it there.
All right, I'll do a couple quick mentions. Saw Hellraiser Judgment. This comes out this Tuesday on Blu-ray. It's another Hellraiser movie.
Making deals.
This is the one that... This one was made a while ago, I think, but it was held back for whatever reason. And then after the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, I think they released it because Hellraiser is Dimension Films. I think that's owned by the Weinsteins. And for whatever reason, they shelved it. Well, actually, I know why, because I just saw it. It's not very good. It's way better than the previous Hellraiser, which I think came out like 2011. Hellraiser Revelations. That was the absolute worst. I mean, that might have been one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was such a piece of shit. This one is a little bit better than that. The guy that they got to play Pinhead did a way better job than the guy that they got for Revelations. But like a lot of the later Hellraiser movies, this just follows your kind of typical Saw 7 formula. And it's just not very interesting. There's a couple really gross scenes in this. There's some disturbing imagery, but it doesn't feel anywhere close to what the original 3 movies were like. It just... It just lost its way, and this one's no exception. It just feels ham-fisted, and
they have a certain charm. That first Hellraiser.
I think
I don't know if you can recreate that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like modernizing those movies, it just, I don't know. There's something missing there. But either way, it's pretty crappy, and I would avoid it. One that I would recommend is Tragedy Girls. This is out now, finally on Blu-ray. I missed this one last year when it was in theaters, and I thought it would surely be on VOD before the end of the year, so I could watch it and consider it for my top 10 horror movies, but it never came out. It came out last week on Blu-ray, and it sucks because it would definitely go on my top 10 horror movies of 2017. It'd probably be near the top as well, because I really liked this movie a lot. I thought it was pretty great. We've seen a lot of these sort of thrillers and horror movies that play with the idea of social media, and I mean just a lot of movies in general that play with social media and the sort of downside of social media and sort of the awful things that can cause in people, you know, with an online presence where we're always trying to get likes and views and retweets and grow in popularity. I mean, the entire world is now a giant popularity contest with people doing exceedingly stupid things like eating Tide Pods, you know, to become famous, internet famous. And I think that this movie, Tragedy Girls, does it way better than most of those movies that tackle the subject. I would say that this does it better than even Ingrid Goes West. Both movies are slightly similar in a similar vein, but I thought I had a lot more fun with this than Ingrid Goes West. And holy crap, is this movie gory. That was one of the big surprises, was the level of violence in this movie. Very surprising. Some of the deaths seem to be paying homage to other horror movies. In fact, a lot of the deaths seem to be paying homage to other horror movies, which I appreciated because they were done in sort of there was like a new spin on a lot of them. And I just had a blast with this movie. It begs for a sequel, and I hope they do make a sequel, but I hope that they get Tyler McIntyre to direct it and get everybody that was involved with this one back in it. But highly recommend Tragedy Girls. Is definitely worth a look. I know you were somewhat interested in this, right?
Yeah, which is good to hear.
Yeah,
that's just chalk another one up. So that was the thing, is everyone that I saw, you know, talking about Tragedy Girls saying positive things.
Yeah, it was great. The last one I'll talk about is Victor Crowley. This is directed by Adam Green. So this is the fourth entry in the Hatchet series. Now, I really liked the first Hatchet movie when it came out. I guess it was about 10 years ago that came out. Really enjoyed the first one because when the first Hatchet movie came out, we were kind of waning on the slasher movie. There hadn't been a lot of slasher movies out for a while. You know, we had that little bit of a slasher resurgence in the late 90s. You know, you had your I think it started with Scream in like the mid 90s, and then you started having like the I Know What You Did Last Summers, and then just all of those kind of derivative titles that came out, urban legends, and I don't know, Final Destination. I don't think Final Destination would really fit in that, since it's not really a killer, but they all had kind of the same vibe. Anyway, there was a little bit of a lull in slasher movies, and then Adam Green came out with Hatchet, which was very much sort of this 80s throwback to the slasher movie. You had your villain, your supernatural, superhuman villain, and you just had a whole bunch of teenagers getting chopped up and killed. And then the sequels, 2 and 3, they weren't great. The second one was directed by Adam Green. The third one wasn't, which came out a few years ago. And then this one, which is sort of a reboot of the series. In the third one, they killed him, and in this one, they resurrected him. So in that regard, it feels very much like, you know, Friday the 13th, where they bring him back from the dead. And this one also has some like meta vibes to it. It's very much like Scream 2 or Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where the plot involves a film crew going to the swamp where Victor Crowley lived and shooting a fake trailer for a movie version of this incident. So they're trying to make a Hatchet movie, and like they're looking through like the victims, and they're trying to recast the victims, which are, you know, are pictures of actors from the first Hatchet. So it's got this kind of meta vibe to it, but doesn't really. It's not great. There's a lot of kind of horror homage in here that makes it slightly more fun. But overall, it feels pretty standard as far as a slasher goes. One of the interesting things is that all of the characters are trapped on a plane that crashed in the swamp. So it's sort of like this containment thriller where they're all in one place, and basically they're just trapped on this plane, and Victor Crowley's just standing outside waiting for them to leave so he can chop them up. The effects work is pretty solid. These movies famously only use practical effects, and a lot of them are really good. There's some really kind of nasty shit that happens in this. There's even a Cannibal Holocaust homage in there that I appreciated, but overall, fairly mundane, fairly forgettable. We have a review for this up on the site, actually. Blake did a Blu-ray review. This is out on VOD and Blu-ray right now. I think he gave it like a 5. Yeah. So that's it for me. Let's talk about some new releases. We got a big one this week.
Hell yeah.
Black Panther. Now, I've been feeling really, really strangely about this movie. Like, I remember when the first teaser trailer came out, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, yes, I can't wait for that. And then, for some reason, I cooled off on it a little bit. I was, like, cooling down on it. But then, you know, as the release date gets closer, and they're coming out with like little TV spots and stuff, and then all of the people that have seen it are talking about how great it is. Now I'm getting the hype is building back up within me. So I'm pretty amped for Black Panther.
Yeah. Yes. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
So that's the biggie coming up this week. We also have Early Man coming out. This is the Wallace and Gromit folks.
I would just like to say that poor all the other movies.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I think a lot of people knew and changed their release schedule accordingly. Early Man, they were like, you know, it's a kids movie. There's going to be room for that on the schedule. Early Man, I have no interest in at all. It doesn't look good or funny in any way. I don't know why. Like, critics always love the movies put out by this team, and I can't stand most of them. I love claymation. I love stop motion animation, but these movies just they're not funny to me at all. Like, I remember enjoying the Wallace and Gromit. I think they were shorts. They were like short films, the original ones. And I enjoyed those. But then like this is the same people that did Chicken Run, which I didn't like. They did Shaun the Sheep, which looked horrible, that I didn't even see, which got good reviews. And then they did, I think they did that pirate movie. They got a lot of hype. And then I went to see it and I was just like, this is, ugh.
I never really was able to get into the Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It's not for me.
It's just not. I can see why maybe kids would really like it, but yeah, not for me. We have Tehran Taboo. This is an animated film. Looks somewhat interesting. And then we have Samson, We have The Party, Loveless. These are all just yeah. Western.
That's actually supposed to be pretty good, I heard.
Let's see. We have The Boy Downstairs, romantic comedy. I saw this at Tribeca last year. I have a review for that up. It was okay. It was average. That's pretty much it. I'm not seeing a whole lot else coming out this week. I think pretty much everything got out of the way of Black Panther.
Yeah, which is probably a good idea. There's this, because I saw this nostalgia movie on here.
Yeah.
This is written by Alex Ross Perry. It explores our relationships to and artifacts. So I have a feeling that's going to be verbose as shit.
Yeah.
Mosaic stories about love and loss. Explores our relationships with objects, artifacts, and memories that shape our lives.
John Hamm, Catherine Keener, Bruce Dern, Ellen Burstyn, Nick Offerman, John Ortiz.
No, thank
Mark
you.
Pellington directed it. What'd he do? He did U2 3D.
What? For real?
Yeah.
For real?
Yep. He did
man.
Arlington Road.
The Last Word. I Melt With You. Henry Poole was here.
He was a producer on I Melt With You, which, holy crap, I hated that movie.
The Mothman Prophecies. Oh, hell yeah.
All right, well, maybe I'll give that a look. I don't know.
Don't do it.
I really doubt it. I really doubt that I'll.
I can tell you right now.
VOD this week, we got Defective. That comes out on the 13th. Then on the 15th, we have The Millionaires Unit. That's a documentary. I think that's actually narrated by Bruce Dern now that I see it.
Find connections all over the place.
Then on Friday, we have Looking Glass, which is a Nicolas Cage one. We got The Bad Guys, and we got Black Creek, which is a low-budget horror movie. And that's pretty much it for VOD. Blu-ray this week, got a couple things here. Drag Me to Hell's getting a new release on Blu-ray. I love Drag Me to Hell, man. Oh my god, I love that movie. So good. Have you seen that?
I think so. I think I saw it with you. Pretty
Maybe.
sure.
Yeah, could be. Hell or High Water getting 4K release. Hellraiser Judgment, as I mentioned. Skip that. Blade of the Immortal getting a Blu-ray release. I'd check that out.
Yeah. Check it.
It's pretty ridiculous. Let's see. Wonder coming out on Blu-ray. Roman J. Israel Esquire. The Bird with the Crystal Plumage getting an Arrow release, 1970. Let's see. There's a movie coming out called Don't Fuck in the Woods.
Okay.
Kind of interested to explore that, see what that's all about.
I'm feeling that anybody that does killed.
Yeah. I would say that is almost a certainty.
You know it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. What do we got on Criterion this week?
Oh, we got two classics. Two of them. First one would be 1968's Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, we should have a review for that up tomorrow. Or, sorry, as you're listening to this, it should be up.
Okay. All right. So you got that. You got that classic. And then you got the classic from 1991, The Silence of the Lambs.
Loving that cover.
Oh,
Night of the Living Dead cover's good too. It's like sort of got this pulpy.
I do like both of them covers. They're
Yeah.
good covers. It's good work. Whoever did that, good job. Pick them up. Get them.
Pick 'em up. Do it.
Add it to your collection. Put them on your shelf.
All right, I think that is gonna do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. If you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.